title this video, but basically I got this GPI in the white, they called it, drag-in receiver. Be able to lower out an AR, of course. We can go anything from 22 up to 50 Beowulf is probably as fat and big of a round as you can find. As usual, I do apologize in the background for the noise. We've got geese and ducks that really enjoy the video, and once in a while a cat makes an appearance too. So, trying to figure out what I could do with this. I did get a couple. I buffed out one. It's nice and shiny. You can see my reflection. But this one, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's just kind of matte looking. I mean, they pulled it off there. They didn't polish it at all. It's kind of shiny down here. It's kind of shiny right here. But other places it's just not very pretty. So I'm going to try something. I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but what I've got is some isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to take and clean it all off. And then I got a can of $7 Plasti dip. And we are going to see if we can't get this thing to work. So I did bring out a glove because I know a glove's going to be important. I don't want to get any oils on my hands. I'm not a very good painter, but I do know that much. So Plasti dip. I got the matte black. Like I was saying, I don't want any of the oils on my hands on this when it's all painted up. I'll dry my hands out if I use the hand without, but I want to get every surface, just make sure I get all the oils off. I'm just prepping the surface for paint. Again, I'm probably not one to be asking on paint. It's neither my area of expertise or anything else. So just buff down the surfaces, get them all wiped down. Anywhere we want paint to stick, we've got to have them clear. Clean and clear. Alcohol does the trick because it breaks down the oils and then it leaves no residue. So there's a chance my crappy rag will leave residue. This won't, so anything that touches we get lubed, get all taken care of there. Piece of wood. And then I grab some toothpicks. I'm going to stick toothpicks in all the holes that I don't want filled with paint, basically. Try to break them off so I can still get them out. But enough so I don't have to fight it. Is my plan. I'm going to touch that one a little bit. I'd rather not fill these up and then have to dig them out afterwards, so I'm going to try to fill a couple right now. Any of the tricky ones, at least. Well, hello, cat. Thanks for visiting us. Could you give me a little rum, though, buddy? Alright, I think that's the main ones. That's where the little tiny springs go. I'm fine digging out all the rest. Totally fine with that. This should be pretty dry by now. A little smudge of something in there. Again, dust is not going to help our Plasti dip stick, and neither will any grease. Any grease just, we won't get as good of a finish. So I'm going to let that dry for a minute or two just to make sure it's absolutely perfect. We'll come back and we're going to coat it with Plasti dip. We'll probably leave it for a day or two, and we'll come back and we'll take a check and see how the hardness is. I know no time's expired for you here, but what I did is went ahead and run a zip tie through here. Nowhere is it touching anywhere where I want paint to stick. The threads, I really don't care if there's paint inside there or not. Then I also ran this stake up through the hole where the grip runs. So this will give me a chance to hopefully hold it as I'm spraying, so I get a little bit less paint on my fingers. Kind of in everywhere. Hopefully I can just paint it like that. So shook the can for about 2 minutes. Give it one last shake. We're going to just go over a light coat of this. Hopefully the stuff doesn't come on too thick. And, you know, hopefully I can hold it in front of the camera too, so at least you get some semblance of what in the world I'm doing, because I'm not entirely sure I do either, but it's coming out. It's kind of weird, but it's not, I guess like some do on, I'm not seeing that at all. It's not real smooth. It almost looks like it's bubbling up ever so slightly. And I am habitual for putting paint on too thick, so Gotta keep it down here where you can see. My camera off to the side. Yeah, I'm really good at putting it on thick. Like my sarcasm and my not too funny humor. So. Did I get it everywhere? Sort of everywhere? Not on the front. Gotta hold it back a little bit farther than I thought. The end there. Probably not as important since that's where the cover goes. Sorry, I'm pulling you all out of focus here too. I think I'm a little thick. I'm going to lose my drag, and I think on this side. But that's what you get, I guess. Get what you pay for, and I didn't pay much. I'm sure I'll get the comments on how thick I'm putting this on, and it's too thick. And if I can just wipe that off or not. Then again, the plastic dip may just do well at filling in holes too, so I may not. Looks like it's pretty covered. I'd hate not to overdo it here, so I'll make sure I put enough on that I didn't, miss anything. That's my MO. Gosh dang it, it's way too thick there. Try to dab it off here. The dry part of the red, it's not covered in isopropyl. I can smear this a little bit and get another freebie shot at this logo. Nobody's gonna jack it up like I do. So if you try this at home, you know you probably can't mess it up any worse than I do. No, it didn't matter how light I put that on there. The plastic dip, which I thought, because it is a plastic type product, just shoots a little bit too thick. Wow. I don't want to say I suck at that. Then I drop the camera of all things. So I think I'm going to call it for that. For the paint job. It's thick, it's plasticky. Of course, it's not a thin product. And we're going to hang it up to dry. We're going to check back in a couple days. Alright, we are back. Actually, it's been 2 days I let this dry, and I noticed something that happened. Everything showed up. My dragon came back, but it almost like separated and didn't quite cover like I wanted it to. So I got some spots that I'm going to actually go back over and touch up now. I'm going to let it hang for another day or so, and we'll come back and evaluate. Alright, we let that dry for about 18-20 hours, and this is what we got. It's a little gloomy outside, and I think it's going to rain, so I decided to bring it inside. The second coat is not as smooth. I put it on, probably not as thick, and so it gives it more of a hammered look. It actually looks really good. I actually like it. It's not glossy or anything like that. It doesn't look too artificial, so we'll pull all these things that I had toothpicks in, and then cut our zip tie off that we had running through there, and then we're gonna put this together today. So I'm not gonna actually video the putting it together because I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube about this, but I'm more here just to kind of see how it all matches up. So real happy with this, actually. I like the texture, I like the finish. It looks like it's gonna match pretty closely. I have a pretty good fingernail, and I mean, it leaves a mark, but it's not coming off in my fingernail, and I don't know that it's fully dry. So this may be just as good as the product that they currently use on all the lowers. So let's cut it off, put it together, and see what she looks like. Alright, that's it. That's the fit, finish, everything. I got that all put together. It didn't go too bad. I did have some a little bit of that rubberized paint stuff up in underneath the safety selector, so it wasn't selecting very well, but it's much better now. I'm getting a little more of a click in there, so I just need to work that around a little bit more. Otherwise, everything else seems fine. Trigger works like it's supposed to. When it's off safety, works when it's not supposed to. So yeah, overall, I think it's turning out pretty well. I didn't scratch it up too much. Nice thing about this, I think where I do scratch it up, I can just spray a little paint, and then I'll just touch it up with a brush. Again, I don't think this is not done. This is not dry enough. So they say 24 to 48 hours. I waited about 18. So we'll see how it firms up as the days go by, and see if we don't get a little bit harder finish. All right, the last couple words on this one. This did turn out really hard, nice. You can feel that it's rubbery, but that's about it. I'm not sure how the wear is going to be. The one thing that I did find is that any place where metal touches metal, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but of course rubber is going to impede that. So stuff like the mag release is pretty tight. I'm going to have to end up taking that out, cleaning up all the metal from any of the black rubber, and then reinstalling. The bolt release is fine. I got the safety lever working just fine, but this in particular, I'm going to have to pull it out, just clean up those places. Make sure that it's metal on metal contact and not the rubber that's going to, of course, impede it. So I'm going to wrap this up, and then we're going to take it out and do first shots. We do have a problem. I did not pull this apart. I slid the mag in. The mag locked in fine. I cannot get the mag out. The mag release is just jammed with that rubber. So again, make sure all these surfaces are metal. I'm going to have to take this whole thing down. And apparently I'm going to have to blow through all 30 rounds in this PMag, which actually I'm quite fine with. So, alright, let's wrap this video up. I went ahead and cleaned out the mag well. I scored everything that I didn't want the rubber on, and then just basically just pushed and peeled it up. Other than that, I'm real happy with this finish. So any moving parts do not like the rubberized finish. And it just runs just fine. So you're going to do this finish, this rubber Plasti dip, pull it off of any moving surface that needs to be able to run on its own. So other it just doesn't mesh well with especially plastic. Thanks for watching. Subscribe below.